The secrets behind funerals. Let's start with the stuff we can objectively measure, the actual stuff that happens to the body once one pops their clogs. Most dead people's lungs and hearts stop working when they die. Without oxygenated blood, the brain shuts down and all muscles relax, causing basic flaccidity. Most funeral homes will sew the mouth shut, so grandma's open casket funeral doesn't look too zombie-like. All muscles relax, including sphincters. These people are the gatekeepers for your number ones and twos, so after you die, you might poop. It may be the right place, right time anyway. Terminal events like heart attacks or lung clots might cause the sense of needing to poop. In rare situations, excessive straining might also cause a heart attack. Next time you go potty, it may be the last. Post-life muscular relaxation has certain benefits. Morning wrinkles? Gone. According to funeral director Jeff Jorgensen, your forehead muscles relax upon death, smoothing away wrinkles. Botox? One catch. Probably not. Once you know them, deceased people may be rather communicative. How? Not breathing air doesn't mean your lungs are empty. If a cadaver is moved or resuscitated, air can flow up the windpipe and rattle the vocal cords, producing a terrifying moan, groan, or squeak. Following the first hour after death, pallor mortis begins. Without capillary circulation, lighter-skinned people have pale, washed-out skin. Then livor mortis begins. As blood stops being pumped, gravity draws it toward the earth, causing pooling. Pooled blood will turn the skin closest to the ground reddish or purple, like a bruise, which may make your free Botox less appealing. Who said death was beautiful? 3 hours after death, rigor mortis arrives. Upon death, the body's oxygen and energy supply cycles stop, as does the production of adenosine triphosphate, a muscle fuel. The protein filaments in the muscles become locked, causing the body to become statue-like. Not ancient Greek sculpture hard, but stiff. During these biochemical changes, face and body muscles may continue to contract and twitch for several hours, so don't be alarmed if the deceased is dancing. Rigor mortis begins in the face, then spreads to the body, arms, legs, and fingers and toes. Men can obtain an additional serving of rigor mortis in the nether regions by erecting one last tent. This stiff-bodied state can last 2 days, depending on the temperature and the patient's circumstances. As muscle cells die from lack of energy, the body will begin to loosen up again. Over 3 days, rigor mortis reverses, first with the fingers and toes and ending with the face. What's creepier than stiffness? Tache noir happens. What's tache? The eyes might dry out and turn black if left open while the body relaxes. Due to the frightening sight of expired people with their eyes open, especially if the eyes are black, morticians utilize eye caps. These dimpled tools slot beneath the eyelid to keep it closed, because nobody needs to see that. A legend says dead individuals can grow hair and nails. We're here to debunk this misinformation. Skin dehydrates and shrivels after death. Nails and hair appear to grow when the skin retracts. After a month, the cadaver's hair and nails fall out. Post-checkout, there's little possibility of keeping your looks. All this dying doesn't smell like a fresh meadow, however. 2 to 3 days in, internal organs begin to deteriorate and create putrescine and cadaverine, which mask the scent. Our brains are wired to stay away from anything producing rotting meat smells in case whatever prompted the source to go on permanent vacation is still around to send us on our own. So our brains make putrescine and cadaverine the worst smells. A normally helpful bacteria in the gut reproduces and feeds on the body, giving off waste gas that causes the torso and limbs to swell like a balloon. If this bloating gets out of hand and the organs liquefy, the gases can build up to such pressures that they rupture forcefully out of the nearest exit. This can cause eyeballs to pop. Yuck. But you came for this, right? As the body breaks down, it gives off smelly chemicals that tell flies to lay their eggs in and around the openings. These adorable eggs hatch into hungry maggots. So fast. As the body is exposed to the outdoors, birds, bugs, and scavengers begin to feast. Once these animals have eaten, only skeletonization remains. Once the soft tissue is gone, wind, rain, erosion, and abrasion remove the bones and joints, leaving a mound of bones. they won't last forever. The soft collagen inside bones deteriorates over a decade to hundreds of years, cracking and breaking down into dust. Before we explain further, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for our future updates. What happens if the body is buried? Flies, maggots, worms, ants, and germs will find a way to consume your rotting body. So, eventually, you'll disintegrate into your constituent materials to feed the soil or fill some little life gut, and your form will become the energy it takes to move and stay alive. So, goodbye physical body. Or, unsolved. Most people believe in an afterlife. Some believe nothing happens, that the biological parts of our bodies that produce our senses and what we call consciousness no longer function, and we can't think or feel beyond their disintegration. Others find hope in the afterlife. Let's see what they say before we examine the afterlife scientifically, shall we? Everyone, according to Christians, has a soul. According to Christians, the soul occupies the human body's symbiotic vessel. Science cannot measure the supernatural aspect of ourselves. Christians believe that when their bodies die, God weighs their souls' good and evil deeds on earth. Good Christians seek to knock on heaven's door. Heaven is a non-physical state of existence where pious Christians can hang out with God and His angels, despite what Belinda Carlisle may say. Contrary to common belief, the Bible promises Christians in heaven will have resurrected bodies, not feathered wings. Feathers are hard to remove, right? If you're not righteous, you could spend forever in a horrible abyss of unending fire, misery, and sorrow. So, Jesus' team members will experience something after they return to the sender, but whether it's good or horrible depends on how they lived while they were alive. Muslims live by the Quran and believe Allah decides how long they will live. 2 angels record all humans' rights and wrongs, and when a Muslim dies, you can be sure these angels will spill the tea. If a Muslim has lived according to the Holy Book, they will be rewarded with an all-inclusive eternity in heaven, or Jannah, a garden of happiness where people lounge on jeweled couches, remain forever youthful, and drink from wine fountains while being fed only the greatest meals. The alternative is hell, or Jahannam, where people will rage with thirst and suffer eternally. Allah won't give second chances. Therefore, if you believe this about heaven and hell, follow the Quran. Hindus believe in samsara, a cycle of death and rebirth. The soul, or Atman, transfers to a new body when the old one is worn out. The Atman can do good or wrong in each lifetime, but karma will catch up in any way, rewarding or punishing the Atman in the next. If a person never redeems themselves, their Atman may reincarnate as an animal. Doing good deeds and following spiritual teachings across Hindu reincarnations will lead to moksha, or freedom. At this point, their Atman will be emancipated from the reincarnation cycle and achieve a state of absolute freedom and happiness. Sounds good, right? These notions, like the others we've listed and countless others, are based on faith and belief. Faith can give a person a lot of meaning, but can the afterlife be measured scientifically? The science then what? People who have suffered cardiac arrest may help us understand what happens to consciousness and the soul after death. Cardiac arrest is the loss of heartbeat, respiration, and awareness. Without blood or oxygen, you're clinically dead yet can sometimes be recovered. Not to be confused with biological death, which occurs when the heart, brain, and other organ cells die in large numbers due to a lack of oxygen and is irreversible. In 2008, University of Southampton researchers investigated nearly 2,000 cardiac arrest patients. 39% of near-death survivors described feeling semi-aware when clinically dead. This consciousness was described as a feeling of tranquility with time slowing or speeding up, but without the ability to recollect specific events. 9% of the patients reported near-death experiences, such as seeing their life flash before them or seeing lights at the end of the tunnel. 46% experienced non-typical experiences, including vaguely frightened suffering or punishment. 2% of clinically dead patients reported near full awareness, where they saw and heard verified events. Science may never know what happens to our minds after death, but can it explain NDEs? Neuroscientist Christoph Koch says cardiac arrest patients should not be pronounced dead since they can often be resuscitated. When blood and oxygen are cut off from the brain, the patient first faints, but the brain continues to fire. What do you think about our video? Please let us know in the comments area below. If you enjoyed this video and would want to hear from me again, please subscribe and turn on the notification before leaving. Thank you for watching us.